Let's go to our memory verse. Psalm 116, verse 7. Let's say that together as we begin. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Psalm 116, verse 7. Can we say that together? This time, all children, keep your objects which is distracting you away. Let's say that together. And this time, remember, we are talking to our soul. Our soul. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Psalm 116, verse 7. It's a beautiful verse. And sometimes my wife catches me talking to myself. And I see David did the same as well here. David was talking. Who is he talking to? He's talking to his soul this time. And he's telling his soul, hey soul, go back to rest, return to rest. For something that has to be returned, it was first in the state of rest. And that's why it now needs to be returned back to rest. And for us Christians in the new covenant, we know Jesus has given us the rest. In Matthew chapter 11, it reads, learn from me, Jesus said, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and I will give rest for your souls. And Jesus has given us that already. But the world with the distraction and the things around us tries to pull back the rest away from our soul. This time, we are looking at our soul and saying, hey, soul, forget, do not be anxious, do not worry. You have a shepherd, and Jesus has dealt bountifully with you. David was a blessed man. He can look at his soul and say, return to rest. The Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Throughout his life, as he walked through the valleys, through all the struggles in his life, he was left out in the wilderness. The youngest boy, just imagine our youngest boy in the wilderness, taking care of the sheep. And father knows that there are wild animals around, the coyote or the mountain lions. Day and night, he's taking care of the sheep. God was preparing him. There was a battle before him. And through the building up of his testimonies in his life, he can come with a full assurance. At this point, when he was writing Psalm 116, he can say, hey soul, remember the God who has helped you? Go back to rest. The same God is with you. And I want to say that to my life, throughout the week, throughout the day, throughout every second. Hey Stanley, do not allow your soul to be at unrest. Go back to rest, soul. For God has dealt bountifully with you. There are people who cannot say that. They cannot say this verse. For them, this is how the verse sounds. Return to unrest. Go back to unrest. You're already in unrest. Go back again to unrest. For you do not have a shepherd. We sang a beautiful song, Shepherd of my soul. I give you full control. And if I don't give full control to my Lord, I cannot say this verse as well. I will not hear the voices from God which tells me to turn left or right. But my soul will be confused. And I pray that, Lord, I'll be very faithful to tell my soul, the soul that Jesus came from heaven, stopped everything what he was doing in heaven, came down to the earth to rescue this poor soul from the grave. I pray, God, help me to be faithful and help all my brothers and sisters and all to be faithful as we wait for our Lord's coming. This week, as I was meditating on this verse, I also thought about Moses. In Moses' story, we see that Moses went to Pharaoh and said, let my people go. But God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Why did God harden Pharaoh's heart when the whole idea was to let the people go? God could have actually softened his heart. But God has been preparing Moses. I see all those times that when he saw objections and obstacles after an obstacle, every time he can say, I saw the work of God in this. Every time he saw that Pharaoh was getting hardened, he saw God was using him to glorify God, to show God is at work right now, even through me in this obstacle. I pray, Lord, whatever be the n number of obstacles I see in my life, to God be the glory, just like how we sang the song. God, you be glorified. Let's read that verse once more. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. Psalm 116, verse 7. We have a brother Paul who will share first from God's word, and then I invite brother Zach to share from God's word.
What I wanted to share was recently I had a disagreement with a coworker, and it was actually over a good thing. This one of our employees wanted to implement something that was helpful, so this coworker got upset and came cursing like he usually does, and I wasn't prepared. I was busy at my desk, and I got angry. I didn't yell at him, but I was angry in my heart, and I went to the Lord and I said, Lord, I really want to go back to this guy and respond the way you want me to. What does love look like in this situation? And I'm experiencing, a little anxiety to have this conversation. But you said, perfect love casts out all fear, and even something small like this, it seemed. And I was reminded of Hebrews, right? Hebrews 12:14. We all know it. Pursue peace with all people, and holiness. And also Romans 12:18 says something similar. If possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with all people, wives, spouse, children, enemies, neighbors, everybody, all people. And it was kind of funny because I went to his office and he wasn't there. And because the word to me was, I believe the Lord said, hey, pursue him, go to his office. And so he wasn't there. And the flesh said, you tried. It depended on you. You went. He wasn't there. Oh, well. And God said, go again. And so 4 or 5 times later, excuse me, going back to his office to pursue him and to pursue peace with him. And he was finally there. And I was just reminded how much wonderful truth there is in the Bible, just how God rescues us from fear and anxiety. He talks about it throughout the book, throughout the word. And so because my feelings were not obviously looking forward to try and understand him and be at peace with him, but so I said, Lord, what are even the first words I'm going to say to this man, And by faith, the Lord took me step by step. He said, just tell him you really want to understand where he is coming from, and tell him you apologize and forgive me. And even if he was rough and gruff when I went down there and talked to him about his point of view, I could see his demeanor, that he understood the good that we were trying to do. And he even loosened up and laughed a little bit. And we were able to come up with some possible solution to a good thing that originally had made him upset. And God reminded me again, Paul, humble yourself, be the first to apologize, be the first to be at peace with me, and I can help you be at peace with others. Whether people are happy with you or not, it's not always the good outcome, right? And so I can have a good outcome with God. And he reminded, hey, I first loved you. When you didn't love me, and Ephesians 2:14, I saw a beautiful thing about Jesus. It says how Jesus himself is our peace, right? That he is the only one who can bring down those impossible walls, those dividing walls of bitterness, those walls of humbling myself. I can bring down those walls of Jericho, though they appeared like idiots. As Stanley said, to God be the glory, right? God was glorified as they did something, walking around 7 times, just looking like fools. But so God reminded me, it's not a self-seeking peace that God is calling me to, but a peace that says, I humble myself, Lord, what is your way to do it? And so I believe God will continue to give us faith and give us grace in our homes, on the workplaces, wherever we need to, that those dividing walls can come down if I don't give up and I humble myself. So to God be the glory.